All right, y'all. Um, so this is kind of a last minute thing. I'm gonna admit something right off the bat. I I have been drinking tonight. I watched the Sabres game, NHL, starting at 7, and it was depressing as a Sabres fan. It was pathetic. It was a shit show. But I'm here. I figured I'd been drinking a little bit. I have a little bit of time on my hands before I go to sleep. I have been craving playing another scenario, or at least starting one on RCT2, OpenRCT2. So the next one on the list here is Trinity Islands, and this stream isn't going to be too long. It's going to be very stop and go. I will say that off the bat. Um, but I will begin it. I do hope that my audio is working all right on my stream. I kind of rigged it in a way so that I do have Spotify playing through my headphones. I don't hear the RCT2 noises, but I think I got it in a way so that the RCT2 audio is playing through the stream. The Spotify is only playing through my headphones, so I don't get slammed with a bunch of copyright stuff. Um, but we'll see how it goes. I'm probably going to end up finishing this one tomorrow or even restarting it because I don't know how well I'm going to perform in the condition I'm in right now. And it will be very stop and go. I am talking to a few people on my phone right now, so if I pause randomly and don't say anything, it's because I'm a little distracted and I'm on my phone or something. But I'll try my best to make note of when I'm actually doing that. So Trinity Islands, a very cut and dry scenario once again. Just like Bumbley Beach, it is a 750 guest requirement, but we do have 3 years here instead of two, and it is a park rating of at least 600. So the thing that's different about Trinity Islands here is that hang on one second. Let me see if I can do something here real quick. Okay. So hopefully the audio isn't coming through. I took my headphones off. They're on my neck right now. But hopefully the audio isn't coming through the microphone too much that I have any problems with copyright or anything like that. Trinity Islands, the thing about this scenario is you have a decent amount of land. It's probably about the same amount of land as Bubbly Beach was, but it's configured in a very weird way here. Um, you don't have much flat land at all. You have three of these islands here. You have the sort of peninsula one, if you will, jutting out. There is a little bit of flat land right here, but you can maybe fit one flat ride in there. And then the two islands you have. This one has a bit of flat space over here, but this one right here is basically a large hill. So there is going to be some building over the water here. There's going to be a lot of maximizing the amount of flat lands that there is available. In terms of rides, there is the chairlift. I don't know if I'm actually going to use it because space is a concern on this map. Gentle rides, the merry-go-round is probably the only one that I would consider using here. There is the junior coaster available right off the bat, so it is a cheap coaster design. It's not a wooden coaster or anything, so it'll cost about half the price or a third of the price that a wooden coaster would. The Scrambler is the only flat ride that's available. Boat docks are also available, but you would risk in a body of water this large, you would risk people getting lost very quickly, unless you build a tracked layout. And even then, the boat docks would not gain as much revenue or ridership. In terms of stalls, there is an ice cream stall, a drink stall, and a restroom. So the information kiosk is something that needs to be researched here. So I think right off the bat, as I usually would, maximum funding's already set. I'm going to go right for the information kiosk. So shops and stalls are going to be a paramount to research early. Once I get the info kiosk, then I'll be able to search flat rides, coasters, um, maybe gentle rides as the time goes on. But flat rides and coasters are going to be the main thing that has to be prioritized here. Excuse me. Um, in terms of the loan, $10,000 to start. It is a flat $10,000. You have 10,000 in the bank, and you loan 10,000. You can only loan 20,000 though. So I mean, it's not a fairly large loan. You only get half of what you can. Um, Give me 1 second here. I just got to respond to something on my phone. Okay. So $20,000, that is on par of what Bumbley Beach is in terms of the loan. Bumbley Beach, you only started with 5,000, and it was a $10,000 loan. But here it's an even flat 10,000, 10,000. So money isn't as much of a concern. Space is a little bit of a concern, but I wouldn't say as much. It is about the same amount of space as Bumbley Beach. It's the same guest requirement, but it's a 3-year time period. I can't remember off the top of my head whether or not the scenario has any weird quirks, like your rides don't get as much revenue or it's harder to attract guests by advertising campaigns. But one important thing here is that you have a path system already in place. It's well developed. It goes around all 3 of the islands. But you don't, if you're only going to start on this first peninsula over here, you don't want your guests walking all the way over to this third island and getting lost. So I'm definitely going to cut off this path system probably right about here, so that the guests cannot make their way past this first island until I'm ready for them to make their way over to the second island and the third island. Typically, I will go with the first island, and then I will develop the second island, and then finally the third. Similar to like in Evergreen Gardens, where I'm cutting them off to the first section of the park here, the front half, and then they can start to make their way to the back parts of the park. The park is closed to begin with, so I'm just going to go ahead and open it. I don't have anything in here yet, but I want it to be open so that even if I get 1, 2, or 3 guests in the park with very little in it right now, that's going to help towards the guest requirement. And the park's going to be open. People are going to know it's there. It has a free entrance fee, so I can do pay per ride. I don't have to worry about lowering that entrance fee. And I'm going to get right to work. This path is going to get cut off right here. So now I don't have to delete these paths that are in place. They can remain where they are. But this path is already laid out. I already have a sense of, what I can do here. And I'm going to begin. The only flat ride I have is the scrambler. There is a flat piece of land right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and plop it in. And I'm not too worried about the paths or anything at this point. I'm just going to lay this one out right here. And I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna lay it out there. Um, I did pause again because my mind is going all over the place right now. I'm gonna take a drink right now. I'm gonna call this one Tiki Twirl. We have kind of an island, not Polynesian theme, but kind of an island in the ocean sort of mystical theme. So Tiki Twirl, I'm gonna maximize the rotations on this bad boy, test it out, and I will probably get $2 to $2.50 out of this attraction. There are some trees around it, but it all depends on the scenario and stuff. 246, so $2 is good for this. I'm gonna open it right up, and as far as the stalls go, it's gonna be a good idea. A bathroom right here, right at the front of the park. I am also going to place the food stalls in any open land that I have. Relatively low money here. Drinks, I'll be able to get $2 out of. And as far as the ice cream goes, fruity ices, $1.50. So everything's in place. There are no benches or anything, so I'm gonna get to work on that. Not too much concern about time or money or anything right now. I have low time, low money. I'm just gonna wait until the research goes through a little bit. A little bit. I have the junior coaster design in my pocket. That could very well work out something that interacts with the land and the water right about in here in this pocket. I don't want to build too far out here because this will be reserved for some of the more major attractions as they get developed. But over here, definitely there is some room. There is some small space that will be perfect for a junior coaster design. And I'm going to put some bins in here as well. Near the food stalls, that's definitely paramount and very important for any scenario. But you can never really have too many benches and bins. It looks a little bit funky if you just go plopping them down anywhere on the path, one after the other as you go along. But for this pathway right here, as far as terrain in this park, the paths are pretty flat. There is a little bit of a concave right here, and this mountain or this hill over here is a little bit mountain was totally the wrong word for that, but this hill over here is a little bit more terrainy than it is over here. There are some dips and going up, but overall the path system is pretty flat. You don't have to worry about your guests getting too fatigued in this map, as long as you don't go building paths, right over the hill. As long as you keep them pretty flat, and even if you build a boardwalk like from this island to this one, the guests will not get all that fatigued. And I'm gonna pause here really quick because I have to respond to something. I do apologize for this slight delay. Okay, sorry about that. Like I said, I have been drinking. So this stream, we'll see how far we get. I may only do the first half of Trinity Islands right here, if I'm even successful, because me playing this sober, I'd still have everything in my mind right now. I still know everything that's going on. I've played these scenarios before. I've done them. I know the strategies. I know the quirks for most scenarios. But my mind is a little bit slowed right now. But this is practically the same exact setup that I've had. The scrambler's the first ride that goes in the scenario in the flatland. You build the stalls that you have. As far as research goes, the information kiosk, as soon as it's researched, I'm going to plop that bad boy in. It's very similar amongst all the scenarios. If you don't have the info kiosk to start, you're going to have the food stalls. If you have the information kiosk, chances are you're going to be missing a food stall or a drink stall that you're going to have to research. So the first stall that comes off the bat is going to be the one that you need. Then you switch your research focus to the thrill rides and the coasters, whichever ones that you're trying to build right away there. um, and you plug away from there. You don't go far out. You don't develop all your lands. You don't shoot yourself in the foot right away. But you totally do what you can. That's the goal in life. If you want some motivational talk right now, you do what you can in life, and that's what I'm doing with these scenarios, one after the other here. So I think another ride will work out well. A carousel sort of over the water here is going to look kind of nice. Um, the path system is going to get a little bit funky because in fact I'm going to delete this and I'm going to build it one block out. Um okay, so I'm going to go with the green queue line, and the path is going to remain flat here, so that's a good thing. Colors for this carousel, I'm going to go with more of a green, and red is a Christmas color, so maybe a green and a bright orange. Merry-go-round, Tiki Twirl, I renamed that. I'll just name this one Merry-Go-Rounds, why not? And I'll put the rotations up to something like 15, see what we get to start. You need a couple of rides to get people in the park. Maybe I'll bump it up just a little bit. Try to get $1.50 out of this merry-go-round because I really want to start making some money off of these attractions to start. Okay. The guests don't seem to have any initial hunger or thirst when they're coming in the park. Let's see the bathroom. Nope. But people will certainly, a couple people are already on the ride here in line for Tiki Twirl. The merry-go-rounds, people will go into this ride as more people get in. And I mean, look at this, just with a scrambler and a merry-go-rounds, over 50 guests are in the park, and more are coming in. So 750 guests in 3 years will be not a challenge at all. And I believe it's time, while I'm waiting for the information kiosk to be complete, there isn't much else to build right here that I'm really ambitious to build right now. So I'm going to start with the coaster. Why not? And I'm going to do the custom design as I like to do, build the station. Oh, and in fact, I may want to build this one block out because I do want to leave enough room for my queue line and my exit ramp. But this coaster, this little area right here, I don't know if I'm going to go back here, but there is a lot of land over the water right here, and there is a bit here that's hilly terrain. That'll be perfect for the junior coaster. Um, I this isn't going to be a very large coaster, but it's going to be something that will get the money through the gate. And that's going to be too high for the supports right there. And it's 40 feet tall, but you also have to consider the path is right here. So this grounds below the path is going to be like -5 feet, -10 feet. So the difference from 40 feet to the lake water right here is actually about 55, 60 feet. Um, and I want to leave myself enough room right here to be able to bring the return runaround. So, maybe I go on the diagonal right here because there is some advantageous land to use. A path isn't going to go here. No flat rides are going to go here. Um, so maybe I go into like a helix. I'm at 40 feet, so it's going to have to be a down helix. Shoot, that ain't going to work. 40 feet, so I'll go 30 feet. Hope that this works. Okay, that'll work. I must have construction rights out here because it's letting me build with the support over that. I'm gonna end up running out of room here though. Will it let me purchase some construction rights or something here? Okay, so there's no land to purchase. I'm gonna have to become a little bit creative with this turn right here. Um, the support, it'll allow the coaster and the supports to go over this piece of land, so there must be some sort of construction rights of some sorts here. But okay, that'll work. No, it won't work. This is gonna work. So this coaster isn't going to be very long, admittedly. But if I bring it all the way down to the ground, you got to think it's a 40-foot hill, but I'm bringing it down. There's a differential of 55 feet here between the lake water and the hill. So it's going to be kind of like Banshee at Kings Island, where it's not going to reach its maximum speed maybe right away, but it is going to part way through the ride. Um, you know, and I was at 20 feet there, so 15 feet should be a good number for this hill. I'll do a small airtime hill here, and I gotta also be careful because I gotta bring this coaster back around. Um, so this will be good. I was gonna do the wide turn, but I'll bring it a little bit closer to the perimeter of the park because I need a return run here. Um, Yeah, this is definitely going to be a bit of a weird coaster, but that's fine. You know, the junior coaster designs I've been using a lot so far. Um, I really do like them for the price that they are. They offer a very good. Um, they definitely offer a very good return on investment, if you will. Um, See, I could very easily bring it in like this, but I do want two trains to run on this coaster for the reason being that it oh, and I'm actually 5 feet too high. Um I no, I can't bring it in that way. Okay, so this will work. Again, such as the other coasters that I've built in like Bumblebee Beach or whatever, the last few cars at the train may end up hanging off the turn right here while going into the brakes, but this is Roller Coaster Tycoon. This isn't real life. You know, I'm an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. Just graduated in 2020, May 2020. This isn't something that I construct in real life, but for the purposes of Roller Coaster Tycoon, this will do its job real well. Um, and it's April of year one, so I'm doing really good on time here. The entrance ramp is going to be a little bit unique. It's going to have to be elevated up in the air there because I can't do anything else with it. And as for the exit ramp, we'll go with the dirt path. I'll do sort of a symmetrical design here. It's elevated, but it works. As far as the entrance goes, I'll do the wooden entrance. It's gonna have two trains, and I'll see if this works out. Um, it definitely is a good design. I still have a little bit of money left in the bank, but I didn't have to take any extra loan out. Using the curved lift hill design here definitely is beneficial. So it's going to go out on a drop. This area of the park it's going to use to its advantage. It's a very slow sort of helix, but it'll pick up speed because it's a downwards facing helix. Goes over the water, twists and turns, down a big drop into sort of an airtime hill, and then it does its return run around the edge of the property here. Hopefully it'll make its way up, which it will, and into the brakes. So I'm expecting this to be a $354 coaster, hopefully at least $4. It does interact with the water very well um, throughout most of the layout. 437, so it will be a $4 coaster. And I'm going to open this one right up because I need it to start gaining money. As for the name, um, I'm trying to think of something island themed here. Polynesian. Oh, caps lock is on. Polynesian. Polynesian party. Why not? And I am gonna pause for a second here. I gotta check my phone real quick. Just give me 1 second here. I do apologize. Okay, so Polynesian Party. As for the colors, I do like the kind of olive green supports for this one. Um, I don't know what Polynesian colors are. I'd assume it'd be, sort of darker brown and sorts of colors. Maybe I go with a purple here, a purple and the lime green. And as for the vehicles, for some reason I'm feeling like an orange sort of vehicle for this one. And I will put a couple more benches in here just for guests who are nauseous after this ride. And some of the rope fencing around the exit right there. I'll focus more on fencing as time goes. Typically, as I have done in the past, five, six, whatever streams now. Um, this is the seventh stream. I just did look. I do like to widen the midways and put up some fencing to make it look a little more realistic and also allow some breathing room for the guests, but there isn't much room at all. I could build a wider midway right here, but it would be a boardwalk style. It wouldn't look as good. I would have to do some terrain work as, the pathways went around this island. Um, and that's just something that I'm not willing to spend money and do right now. I mean, we only do have 130 guests in the park. For that, I'm going to hire two handymen, two mechanics, and I'm going to leave it at that. As the park expands, that's when I'm going to begin expanding. And I want to make sure that none of the mechanics got stuck out here. So we got one there. Both handymen, I believe, are on this pathway. There must be some sort of AI in place that if the pathways are not connected. So that one's by the restroom. Yep, that's good. Okay. And both handymen are in this area. They'll be able to walk over here once the guests are able to, but there's no reason to have staff over here when the paths aren't connected and nothing's going on, sort of. So this island is almost pretty much developed now. This island, the two islands over here, I pretty much preserve for major attractions. Usually, I like to do a mine train coaster that works over here that takes up a lot of the land, and I have done inverted coasters over here as well before. Typically, over here, the junior coaster design is one I like to do. This is one of the larger ones that I've done. I've done them just so that they take up this area alone too, and they work just fine. But this one has two trains. It's able to charge $4 a pop. I also do have two flat rides already working over here, so nearing 200 guests, over 150 guests at this point. This is doing well, and just for shits and giggles, if I can find the water fountains, I may add a couple of water fountains in here. Not that they'll spray riders or anything like that, but just as an added effect, just something to kind of boost the excitement rating of the coaster. The trees and the terrain should already help, but something to give it a little more texture. Okay. Um. Oh shoot! So the fries stall was the last one developed here. I may save this one for now. Fruity ices, as I've said before, I'm not 100% sure on this, but it may count as both a food and a drink because ice cream is something that some people get thirsty when they have ice cream. My dad gets thirsty when he has ice cream. Me, I guess I'm kind of getting that way now too, but it's something that, it's basically milk, so it can kind of quench your thirst in a way. And fruity ices, they may also sell slushies here for all I know. It says ice cream is the item that they sell, but I like to think a little bit creatively. They have sold one fruity ices so far. The fries stall I'll save for maybe this island or this one once I start to develop more. We certainly have had bigger parks so far. I've had parks like Evergreen Gardens where at one point I've only had two bathrooms for the whole park and two food stalls. So this is certainly sufficient for right now. and this ride is already making money. This ride obviously is as well. And the merry-go-round. Yeah. So money will be rolling in here. I already spent most of the loan, the 10,000 that was given to start, but money will start coming in. I haven't spent it all. I have another 10 grand to spare in the bank. By the time that more things are developed, more coasters and more major rides that require money, the money will build up, and the other $10,000 is still there. Considering I built all this and still have some money left over, money is not so much of a concern. And land, like I've said before, I don't always like building over the water because of the realism effect. But I have no problem. A coaster like this, it crosses over the land, it interacts with the water. This is something that you'd probably see in real life. If this park was real and they were building a park on lands like this, this would probably be a very similar type of midway that you would see. The scrambler's completely on lands. The carousel is half on land, half boardwalked over the water. Um, and a pizza stall is developed. Oh, I better. Oh, the information kiosk is still not developed, so I still have to wait. I mean, I can go ahead and continue building rides, but I don't have any other coaster varieties to begin building. I do hope that the information. Oh, I have it. So never mind that. I'm gonna stop. This is why I shouldn't be drinking when I play this game. I'm gonna go for roller coasters and thrill rides now, and develop those. I had no idea. I thought that the fry shop and the information kiosk were the two that were developed so far. Um, but dummy me, I didn't know that the information kiosk was available. So I want a couple of ports of entry here, but I don't know if I'll get one unless I remove this tree, which will be okay. Park maps, $1 is usually the going rate, and umbrellas, as I usually do, I'll go for $5. I don't know how much it rains in this scenario, but when it starts raining, guests will pay anything for the umbrellas. Okay, so this is all working fine now. The next ride-in will be a thrill ride or a coaster. I have until the end of year 3 to generate 750 guests. Already almost at 200, and maybe halfway or so through year 1. So this is a very good rate to be at. Maybe I will do an advertising campaign for this ride. Polynesian Party. I'll do a 5-week one for $1,000. That seems fair for a junior coaster, anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks. All right. Okay. Um, I mean, I guess I could build. I usually don't like to do the haunted houses, but for a scenario like this where there isn't so much to build right off the bat, there's no harm in kind of building it, if that makes sense. I'll build it right here because there isn't much flat land left at all. Um, okay. I'll do a yellow queue line and path. The paths are going to get very messy and weird in this game, but it is what it is. I've dealt with this scenario many times before, and there's never really a nice way to do it. You always got to fight with. God, this stream's probably going horribly right now. And I did forget to also disable brakes failure. It's the only cheat I'm using on these scenarios. Um, okay. Yeah, this stream is probably going somewhat poorly. I don't know how well I'm explaining myself right now, but I think that, what I have right now, this is very ball game. This is very along the lines when I've done the scenario before, and even the other scenarios that I've tackled so far. This is the strategy that I've taken. Keep the guests happy. The park rating is doing okay right now. The money could be better, could be worse. The money could be better, could be worse, but I'm doing what I can with the rides that are researched. 341. So we'll see if guests will pay $3 for this. They probably will right at the start, but if anyone starts complaining, it's going to have to be lowered to, a $2, $1.50, $1, whatever the case is. This is a dead end of the park right now, though, just because these paths aren't connected. These two paths or islands will remain unconnected until rides are over there and operating and working. Just because you don't want guests getting fatigued and walking places that they don't have to, walking long distances where there really isn't anything for them to do. Okay, so guests are already complaining here. I'll see if they jump at $2 for this attraction. A lot are saying that they want to go on something more thrilling than it. Some are saying they don't want to pay that much to go on it. A couple of guests are in the queue line now, so I just gotta wait for all of these comments to clear. Okay, so guests will go on at $2. In the future, as more thrill rides develop and more flat rides, this will likely get replaced, or the admission price will get greatly reduced until the point it doesn't profit anymore. But for right now, with having so little in the park, there's no reason kind of not to build it for the time being, just to get people through the gate. So 750 guests, two 200, 400, 600, and then 750 divided by 3, that would be about not 75, right? 250 would be 500, another 250 would be 750. 250, 500, 750. Okay, so 250 guests would be a third of that total. So we're at about a quarter weight at the goal right now at 235. And attendance is increasing just because of that advertising campaign for the junior coaster right here. So that's not a bad start. I mean, for the rate, you would want at bare minimum to just squeak by with like 751 guests. You would want 250 guests at the end of year one, and it's only about halfway through year one right now, and the total is already at 241 guests and increasing. So I think the park's doing just fine for right now. By the end of year one, the park will likely have 300, 350 guests inside of the gate. The mini suspended coaster was just developed, so this one's interesting. It's not a very traditional coaster. It doesn't have block zones or anything. I guess the most similar coaster to it would be something like the pterodactyl flyers at Universal Orlando. It's not a very traditional coaster. There aren't many of them in operation. I guess it's very similar to a zip line, but it's also a coaster. Could be sort of a predecessor to the roller soaker model or the pterodactyl flyers. It is something that works somewhat well in RCT. It gets a fairly high excitement rating, but I'd put it along the lines of something like a junior coaster or a steeplechase or a wild mouse. I don't know if it is the coaster that I want to build right now. My only option would be either opening up this land. I want to save this island for a really big terrain following coaster, like a mine train coaster. And I don't really want to build it almost entirely over the water either. A mini suspended coaster, it would be a good option for over the water because it would provide some scenic views and such things. But I don't know if that's the one that I want to go with right now. All right. So another coaster will be developed, so I'm going to focus on the thrill rides only at this point. This pathway is getting a little bit crowded here, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't know how much longer this stream is going to go on. I don't want to finish the scenario in the condition that I'm in. I don't want to get too far either at the point where I won't be able to pass it. I'm sure I will. I've done a decent job with what I have so far, but I really don't want to be streaming when I end up failing one of these scenarios. This is one of the earlier ones. It isn't a very hard one to pass. I've never done this drunk before, though. I've never played RCT drunk, admittedly, so we'll see. What are coaster is going to be developed next? It will be available July 25th. Mine Train coaster. Okay. So maybe. I mean, this is already almost developed as much as it will be able to be. Once I get this Mine Train coaster in, then I'll actually delete this path segment, and then this end of the park will be able to open. The last time I played this scenario, it looked very similar to what it is now. I have done a log flume in this location before. I've also done the junior coaster, and it's both of them have performed just about the same. I have done a mine train coaster right here, and I have done an inverted coaster back here. This will probably follow along the same lines. Trinity Islands isn't one of my favorite scenarios to play just because of how weird the land is, and it's very compact and it's very hard, sort of, to build in here, but it is unique, I guess. You're dealing a lot with the water, and it's three separate islands, so it's pretty cool. And I'm gonna pause really quick. I just gotta check my phone real quick here. Give me like 30 seconds. All right. I think I will, once I get it, I will take out some more loan, the mine train coaster that is, and begin building in here. This plot of lands, there's some flat land back here, so some flat rides and stalls and stuff will be able to supplement the major attraction. But I do believe that the mine train coaster will take up at least half, if not, most of this island. This island, there will be room for a station for a coaster. I can definitely build it around the island in the path. And there's some flat land left over for some other things, flat rides and whatnot. And then, as rides get developed, maybe a station right here, the mini suspended coaster may be a nice fit right here to, go over the water and such things. I can bridge the path from this island to this one. So not only does it create a full loop, but if you have a guest over here and they want to exit the park, they don't have to walk all the way around to get back to the entrance. They can just go from here to here and get out of the park. Not that I like guests leaving the park, you know, like this little bastard right here who, just got in the park and he's sick or whatever. Oh, he's tired. Look at him, and he's hungry. If you're hungry, I got an ice cream stand right here. Have some ice cream. This park is really clean and tidy. I want to go home. Have some ice cream. Go on some rides. You'll have a good time. Wait until you see the next coaster that gets built over here, buddy. You wait a little while longer, and you wait a little while longer, and your mind will be blown. This park is clean and tidy. I've already got a park map. I want to go home. Look at him. Look at that ugly face on him. Look how upset he is. Screw you, buddy. You just wait and see how beautiful this park turns out. Okay. So, look at the research here. The Mine Train Coaster is available. So, I'm going to begin constructing it. And I know I'm going to need more of a loan, so I'm just going to take it out now. This coaster may end up taking up the entirety of the loan. The park isn't making too much money right now, but that's because not too much is going on here. I mean, the junior coaster is the biggest profit puller, and it's only getting $4 a pop. Um, so I'll begin building the mine train coaster. I'm just trying to figure out a good location, a good flat spot to put the station. Um, I'm thinking like either along this bank right here, um, or like over here. Over here may be the best place, but I also do want to preserve this flat land in case I put in a flat ride. So maybe right here along this bank, could be the best option. Let me see what would be the best. Yeah, I mean it's not like there's flat space here. There's one tile of flat space, but it'll end up probably working out the best. And this will be an expensive coaster because it will be, following the train closely and such things. All right, so it's going to do a turn out of the station, goes over the pass. I'll build it up about, 75 feet. Of course, the terrain is affecting that because the train also goes up on a large hill right here. Maybe it does one of these numbers. This will have a lot of crossovers with the path. And I'm actually going to use a tunnel element here just because, just like with Dynamite Dunes, just like with Evergreen Gardens, if you have a big hill like this, there's no reason not to use the interior of it. It's all open space. There's going to be no clearance issues whatsoever. So, you know, why not use? Why not use it? So it's gonna. Um, yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a toughie here to construct. Oh, I don't know if I wanted to go back that way though, because I need to preserve enough room for it to make the return run to the station. Um, so instead, I may go this way and then back up. Uh, so, I mean, it's not a good idea to do a lot of changing turns, left right transitions. But with a scenario like this, oh god, yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a toughie to build, but it's got to be done. It does start at 75 feet. It ends up at, what is this, 25 feet. So I mean, depending how much speed it loses here, there's still quite a bit of speed. Um, okay. So I can definitely build it out this way. I want to preserve this space for a flat ride or something, but oh god, and I'm already spending all of the cash building this coaster, but this is gonna be, you know, a big one. This is definitely gonna be a big one here. I hope I do have enough money here to, you know, to complete the thing. Okay, I should. Ah, god, drunk me makes really bad coasters. Not many hills on this thing. Not gonna be much airtime at all, but it'll be a major attraction nonetheless. You know, shoot, I may be a genius or I may be very stupid. Once said a great philosopher, right? Ah, come on, please let me build. Don't give me that. That's one block. You mean to tell me that old man Jenkins living in a shack somewhere over here on this island won't let me build one block onto his land, one support beam? Come on. Um, let's see here. If I build this out a couple, that won't let me. Well, that'll let me, but I'm not gonna be over far enough to. That will let me though. I'm not far enough though. Is the problem? Um, I could do that, but I only have one train operations. Um, I mean, it works. It's not a very good coaster design. It's much more like a very real traditional mine train. You know, this isn't going to be like a big wooden roller coaster where um, there's a lot of airtime and twists and turns and such things. But I really want more than one train on this thing, though. It's going to need it. Here's what I'm going to do. Ah, I, if I build the station right here, right, you know, the entrance and exit are gonna have to like go this way as opposed to downwards. There's just not gonna be enough clearance there. Shoot. I'm gonna have to go right into like brakes. Oh man, I really shot myself in the foot here, didn't I? Well, I mean, now that I know that the station doesn't have to be right there. Man, this. Is this even. No, that's not even gonna work. Son of a gun. And I can't build a frickin' brake section on a diagonal here. Unless I. Oh, this is gonna be. Um. Yeah, I do apologize for the quality of this stream. I mean, this is bad, but I'm also not in the condition to be making these decisions right now. But then it's gonna be. Oh, wow. I'm just gonna have to see how many, cars it lets me do with the 3 block station. Entrance and exit. Gonna have to go on the inside. This is gonna be a very very weird coaster, folks. But 3 cars per train. Oh my lord. Here's what I'm gonna do. But then I'm gonna run into that freaking path. Ooh, footpath's in the way. I say that to your footpath. I'm gonna build this exact same thing. Can I even build one more station platform? And then just build it up and over. I wonder if this will work. Nope. Um, God, and I'm wasting so much time too. Okay, that works. Um, 6 cars per train. I'll see how this works. I mean, the second train, it's not the worst thing in the world to have it on like a lift hill right there. I'm just more concerned about what the stats of this coaster are going to be and how it does, sort of. Just past October 4th, that's my birthday. Oh, this thing's going to cook. So, I mean, for what it doesn't have in terms of like the layout, it will make up for it in its speed. Wow. That is a very, very weird mine train coaster, admittedly. Max speed 45 miles an hour. That's not bad numbers. I'm gonna go with it here. Um. Okay. These trees are gonna have to go. This is gonna have to get lowered. And this path is also gonna have to. Wow. I mean, it's not like I'm in the absolute crapper right now when it comes to like money and stuff, but this is just very weird and not something that I would typically do. I promise next stream that I'm gonna be in the condition to you know build stuff the right way. Trinity Islands is just one that I wasn't really looking forward to, though. I don't know what's next, if it's Katie's World or which one it is, but this is one that isn't my favorite for sure, and that's just because of the terrain and the weirdness of the land. All right, not looking too bad here. Not looking bad at all, actually. So before I open up this pathway, I'm gonna add, obviously, benches around this island. I don't know if this is gonna be enough. And some bends. Never really have enough bends. People are still gonna make a mess of things. All right. Bends, benches. I'm gonna add in another one of these food stalls here wherever it makes sense and fits in, sort of. Right there, it'll fit in. And pizza, I'll be able to get $2 for any day of the week. All right. Time to open this sucker up. Get some more of these people. 372 guests at the end of year one. That's very good. The name, Bamboozler. That's what it's gonna be named. And I'm gonna have to test it again, but the trains, I like the color scheme here. Maybe for this we go with rails. That looks good. As for the track, oh, that's a putrid color. So is that. Don't know why I'm going for these. Sure, why not? That looks okay. I'm just gonna have to wait for these test results before I open it so that people actually ride the thing. All right, give me a second here. I'm gonna pause it for 1 second. I just need a second here to take care of something. All right, so I'll be able to get $6 out of the Bamboozler, which is one of my favorite names. I don't believe it's a name for a coaster out there unless it's some random coaster, like some wacky worm in the middle of nowhere. But Bamboozler has been one of my favorite names. I believe, is it Worlds of Fun or something has a roundup ride with this name, but this is a name that should be used more often. I'm not very proud. I have designed a better mine train coaster that makes better use of the train and stuff through here before, but I probably started it in the wrong place and stuff. But it's not bad. I mean, if you think about most mine train coasters, the mine train coaster and roller coaster tycoon is generally a higher thrill ride. But in real life, if you think of Runaway Mine Train at Great Adventure or something like that, Gold Rusher at Magic Mountain, they're nothing special. They're terrain coasters, but they're family coasters. This one takes a pretty big drop down over the pathway to start, goes into the tunnel, does its thing in there. I forget what I even did inside of the hill. Comes out, goes over the water, over the land over here, I did use a little bit more of this flatland than I wanted to, but I can always flatten some more of this out. It goes back into the tunnel, comes back out over here, and then does this sort of wacky trick track kind of banked turn. The brake run's a little bit weird. It goes into a lift hill, but that's not unheard of. Ninja at Magic Mountain also does something similar with a lift hill back before the station. And for this one, I'll give it like the log cabin entrance, just to give it some more theming. I'm not really happy with how the paths turned out here. I will add a little bit of light theming to this right here, for the whole mine type of theme. This pathway is open now, though. People are still flowing into the park. Um, I am totally out of money though, so I will advertise this ride for as long. Oh shoot, gotta open it. Okay, I will advertise this ride for as long as I can. That cost will permit me to 6 weeks. I'll do that's the maximum that the original Roller Coaster Tycoon allows you to do stuff for or advertise stuff for. It leaves me with little money, but this thing will bring in the cash. I should have also built a photo section somewhere in here, but I wasn't thinking. I will put some more money into coasters and thrill rides. I did obtain a couple though while I was building the mine train, which is good. The pirate ship, I will build, right up to. Oh, and I don't have the cash for that, so I'm gonna have to wait just a little bit. Flat rides are cheap, but I'll have to wait for the funds to recover. I don't have any more loan to use whatsoever. This ride will make good money though. Uses, I mean, ugh, I don't really like the way it looks over here. It's kind of just a mess. A couple turnarounds where I fit them in. It doesn't really use the terrain all that much. I did build a much better one last time I did this scenario, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a big coaster that uses up most of this island. This one I'm gonna preserve until I get the next major ride or coaster in there. So the pirate ship, once I have the funds to build it, which I do now, um, it is gonna go on this island, and I'll build. I'll build it out right here. So entrance queue, build it there. I'm not gonna be able to build a large queue line at all for this one. I don't want to build just one block queue. So I'll build a couple there, and then I'll need an exit path as well, of course. Um, right there. 20 swings. Oh, lets me do up to 25. I'm going to do 20 and see where that leads me. I like the colors of it right now. I don't believe I have really any greens. This is an olive green. Well, that's a green. Okay, maybe I do have a bit of green in the park, so I'll switch the color for that one. Um, well, purple doesn't look good at all on that, does it? Maybe a traditional pirate ship color scheme here. And I'll just call it simply pirate, or I can come up with a better name than that. Blackbeard's Flipper. 2.58. This ride will be able to get 250 open. I believe that this ride isn't going to be. I'm not paying that much. Okay, well, $1.50. Will you pay that much to go on it? No. If not, I'm going to have to remove the haunted boathouse because haunted houses in this game suck. And they get you a decent amount of money for like 1 month, and then people stop going on it because they get sick of it. And haunted houses are, not very good attractions for theme parks to build in the first place. Excuse me. Well, people are at least going on it now, so it will get some profit yet again. And in the research, the spinning wild mouse again. I don't believe I'm gonna go with it on this scenario, just because, you know, yeah. I've done it on the last couple of scenarios, not Evergreen Gardens, but Diamond Heights. I did it, Bumblebee Beach. I did it, so I won't do a spinning wild mouse here. That mini suspended coaster is something to keep in mind, though. If I need something, it is the beginning of year 2 here. 450 guests, give or take. If I need something quick, something cheaper to put in to supplement the ride lineup at the end of year two or middle of year three, I will go with that one instead of like the spinning wild mouse. That is exactly what I'll do. All right. I really hope the music's coming through my headphones and stuff. I really hope that it's not, when I'm talking, it's not picking up on the microphone. It may be. And this stream may end up being something that I end up deleting very soon after it gets posted. I'm not even gonna post it to YouTube right away, but I'm not expecting a copyright complaint, but given my condition and the way I'm kind of doing this stream right now, that may end up happening. All right. So people are making their way over here now as well, which is good. The added capacity is needed. I'll add another couple of handymen. Two mechanics are good for now. Nothing's really breaking down or catastrophically failing. Park rating's good. Park or guests in the park are increasing at the beginning of year two. So, just about 2/3 of the way to the goal, and at the end of the first year, beginning of the second year. That's a very good point to be at. Given another coaster over here, maybe a fourth one as well. But as soon as flat rides, thrill rides, that is, are researched, the go karts would be a very hard thing to pull off in this scenario, just because of the water and the terrain. I don't want to use a flat land for a go kart attraction. I'd rather save it for a coaster. Swinging inverter ship, I'm going to hold off on for just now. There are many sufficient places to put it in this whole area, but it's one of those rides that you don't necessarily need to put in just because you have it. It's nice to have though, overall. In this area, I'm going to wait for like an inverted coaster or something larger to put in over here. The last time I did this scenario, the station was here, and the inverted coaster, I believe, was a launched one, and it just did sort of like a circle around the island. But that allowed me to save some flat space for other things in the center, and it worked out really well. I passed this scenario with no problems. It's essentially the same as like a Dynamite Dunes. It's the same gas requirement as Bumblebee Beach, but you have a year longer. You have about the same amount of land, if not a little bit more. And just like Dynamite Dunes, you are working with some weirder terrain and stuff. The only difference is unlike Bumblebee Beach, unlike Dynamite Dooms, you start with a blank slate, an empty park. Dynamite Dooms, you had Dynamite Blaster. Bumblebee Beach, you had Big Dipper. So this was all constructed by me from the start. I didn't like the Mine Train coaster at first. I like the way it looks from this angle, but from this angle, it looks like a mess. I mean, I guess it does look like sort of like a traditional Mine Train coaster, though. You know, I don't have the money to spend anything on terrain painting or terraforming either, so I'm going to leave everything as is for right now. It does suck that I did run through the entire loan. That's a hard thing about this map is you only get the $20,000 loan, and I'm not really making it back so much. Bumblebee Beach, you did have the one major attraction and Big Dipper already operating here. The two major attractions were both custom built, so money definitely is something that's a little bit tougher to come by. I'm still curious about this turn, if there's construction rights right here or what, because it shouldn't have let me build this turn over the park here. I know it's weird because it's sort of at a diagonal property line, but the support, I mean, as you can see, is right over the non-owned section of the park. So I don't know if there's. Let me check again, actually. I mean, it looks like there may be construction rights right here just for this diagonal edge of the park, but that'd be a little bit weird. Maybe they were planning for people to build, rides along here, and if they just needed to turn around real quick, they gave them a little bit of leeway. But over here, I tried that, and it wouldn't let me whatsoever with this property line. Make make do with that. I'm not gonna touch the loan or anything right now because I have very little money. And the looping coaster will be the next thing. So I haven't done a shuttle loop in a few scenarios. The shuttle loop may be a very beneficial design to put in an area just like this, or I don't really don't want to open this up until the next like major custom coaster, but a shuttle loop may be something that is able to fit in somewhere along this area right here and bring in some very quick profit and make money back. Money will be a bit of an issue to build a shuttle loop, but it will make its money back virtually as soon as it opens. And it is going to start to rain again, so hopefully umbrella sales go up. And please excuse me for a second here. I'm just using my phone again. This stream, I know it's horrible. I do apologize. It's just the Sabres game got me drinking, and Trinity Islands is one of the scenarios that I just didn't want to deal with. So give me like 30 seconds here, and I'll get right back to it. I'll put up the be right back screen. All right. Am I still in the same playlist on Spotify? Oh, okay. I have a ton of the weekend on my playlist, and like, of course, the Super Bowl halftime show kind of played into that. But I've been a weekend fan since before the Super Bowl and before all the hype. Blinding Lights is an incredible song, and the weekend is such a great artist. In a second. Okay. As I just switched one of his songs to something else, but I didn't know the song. Even after the Super Bowl, I added. I was like, I like the weekend, but a bunch of his songs and a bunch of his music, I was like, man, I like that song. I never even knew he sang that though. But that was one of the songs that I added. I added like nearly every single one of his songs to my normal playlist. So when I hear the songs, I'm like, I've never heard this before. Who the hell's this? And it's the weekend, and I'm like, oh, that's why. But No, I am a big fan of the weekend. And okay, so let's continue. Let me just get my bearings here real quick. April year two, 528 guests, increasing, and I was gonna build a looping roller coaster next once the funds generate. So I think the best thing is to keep the game unpaused, let some revenue generate. Rain is gonna play a factor into that. You know, people aren't gonna ride many things besides the carousel and the haunted house right now. A lot of people in the queue for Tiki Twirl, but and the same thing with the pirate ship. But um, rain, I believe that rain is one of the things in this scenario that holds holds a lot of riders back at times. I do need the revenue though, and a shuttle loop or something similar. I have done a shuttle loop before where it's like started either here or here and it's launched. It's done two loops and it's went around a spike this way. You know, it does a turn before the spike just to add a little bit of ride length. But I don't think I'm going to do that here. Plus, I put the pirate ship in this location. So maybe a small traditional shuttle loop in here or whatever will fit. I don't even know if I'm going to opt for the second spike on this one. Trinity Islands is definitely a map that I just want to get past. It's not a very interesting one at all. And I do apologize if I keep repeating myself here. I I have had probably, I have had two mixed drinks, but like half the drink was Deep Eddy's cranberry vodka, so that got me pretty feeling pretty good. And on top of that, I've had two Angry Orchards and two beers, so I'm feeling pretty chill right now. And I talk a lot when I'm drinking as well, so okay. Let me see how much a normal shuttle loop would cost. I mean, I could afford it right now. What would turbine cost? I can't afford turbine, but I can't afford the normal shuttle loop. Maybe Stingray would be cool, but I don't really have any flat lands that I'd want to put it. That is a problem with this scenario, and I'm not wasting this right here. That's going to be for a big custom ride. Bumblebee. Um, I mean, a normal shuttle loop. Let's do it. Why not? Why not? Right? And maybe this one will go over the water as well. So I'll need for Q, one space for Q, one space for paths. And it's why isn't it? It isn't letting me shift. What? I can't shift and raise this so it's flush with the surface there? You gotta be kidding me. What? That's bull crap. My supervisor at work always used to make that sound when he would be flustered. Sometimes he'd just come in, and if he knew it was going to be a crappy day, he'd walk in and he wouldn't say hello to anybody. He would just walk through the doorway, through the door frame, and he'd go, ah, in a very high pitched noise. And it was the funniest thing ever. Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so there, there. I'm going to hack this a little bit. You don't want to let me shift and go up? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do that. And it's gonna work. And I'll bring that path or that block of lands back down. But I just really wanted this to be, flush with the surface. Ah! No, I wanted. Oh, I wanted water. Oh, I just wasted a lot of money in terraforming. There we go. I'm gonna call this ride mad science. I don't know why. I really don't. But maybe. Oh, I've done a lot of green though. Maybe. I don't really want pink. Maybe a light blue like that. I've already done the sea green, I believe. So, um, that looks good. And maybe I'll give the trains a green color scheme. Green and yellow. Let's see how this performs. I really hope that it doesn't go over the top. Okay, even with people, I don't think it should. Um, yeah, that looks pretty good. And it gets 4.51, so I mean, 450 per ticket. That's good stuff. I just really hope it doesn't go over the top here, because with a full train of guests, it will hold that momentum, and it's coming pretty close as it is with an empty train. Um, I'm gonna advertise this one as well. Where are we? May of year two. Okay, so doing pretty good. To have three coasters already in this amount of land and with the money situation that there's been, typically I would like with the shuttle loop, and maybe I will extend it as I get more money to have a second spike there. But because of money, and given this is an RCT1 scenario, it was very typical to have a shuttle loop just like this. That was a very low amount of money, and these things get hella profit. All right, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna just check my phone. Give me 1 second again. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. I'm just planning something with somebody right now. Um, All right, so I mean, this is pretty well developed now. I think that there's a few decent rides here, some money makers. There's some flat rides to supplement that. The stalls are all good. It is going to rain again, so nobody's going to go on the brand new ride that I just built to make money. I like the color scheme of it. I like the name, the space entrance. I mean, it's Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's an amusement slash theme park game. This isn't really meant to be a theme park. I mean, you have a mine train over here. You have Blackbeard's, pirate ship or whatever, and then there's just a random bright ride themed to mad science right here. And then over here you have just kind of some, merry-go-rounds, haunted boathouse, tiki twirl, Polynesian party, whatever that name's supposed to mean. I don't. I just really did not have a name for this ride at all. Polynesian party. Wow, real creative, Mike. But let's see. Research wise, oh, log trains for the junior coaster. That's exactly what I wanted yet again. Um, Still do have the mini coaster. Not going to use the spinning wild mouse, so put an extra that. Mini suspended coaster will likely be something that I put in later down the line. Let's see. Swinging inverter ship I'll save for a little bit. And I don't want to put in a car ride, so I guess I will research more general rides. I'll just put it in a very general thing. Transport rides, there's really no need for it. It's a very moderate to small size park. Scenery is a waste to put research into. So I'll just put the research. I'll set it to everything and see what they give me. There's really no pressing need for anything right now, but at the same time, if they give me something I can use, I'll definitely take it and try to fit it in here. Nearing the end of year two, 600 guests. I mean, it's in all reality only halfway through year two because March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October is 8 months. March, April, May, June. Okay, so halfway through year two, and at 600 guests. That's a very good number to be at for right now. Probably by the end of this calendar year, the guests will be at 700, 750. So we'll be just about at the goal. And year three will be about supplementing that, getting a bit of a cushion, but also keeping the guests in the park, keeping them active, and giving them stuff to do. Really. Okay. I do like the way this looks. I don't know if it's just because there's kind of like a lack of bright colors in a way. This purple's a bright color, yes, but this is sort of a mute purple in a way. Tiki Twirl is sort of bright, but nothing really pops. The haunted houses are always very dreary and bland looking. But this ride really pops, with what the other kind of mute colored rides around the park, and it's in a very good location over the water. Not so far over the water that's unrealistic. The path kind of meets flush with the queue line and that, but the color does pop. It's close enough to the shore that it's more realistic. It looks good to me. So Wooden Wild Mouse will be next. Maybe I put it in, maybe I don't. But for right now, what I think I'm gonna do is, pretty much it's a 3 year scenario. Halfway through year two would mean that I'm halfway through the scenario. 617 guests. I'm going to save the game right here and I'm going to stop streaming for today. Tomorrow, when I'm not hammered, or the next day, whenever I get back to this, probably tomorrow after I'm done working, um, I'll get back to it. I'll recap a little bit what I did. I don't think it's too bad what I did here. I'm a little bit upset in a way about the mine train design, but it's fine. It's generating money. I'm just curious to see what the most profiting attraction is in the park right now. Mad sciences, no surprise. The shuttle loops do get a lot of money very quickly, but this is the second most profiting attraction in the park. I'll continue once something is researched that's suitable for me to put over here. I will put it there, and the park will continue growing. Almost to the goal, though, halfway through the scenario. It's in very good shape. So I'm going to end the stream right here, right now. Thank you for watching or rewatching if you didn't catch this live. I don't believe anyone's viewing this right now. Please visit the website amusementmemorabilia.com. All the links for the social media. We do have a Facebook page. We do have a YouTube there in the description. All the Twitch videos will be going on YouTube. So, because Twitch deletes them after a certain amount of time, everything will be up on YouTube. And we'll continue plugging away at these scenarios one by one, having a fun time, reliving a classic game here. People can play Cyberpunk. I do have Cyberpunk. I'm not, I haven't played it in forever, but I'm not knocking the game at all. But people play the new games. The classics are fun too, and this is a real fun one. That's what the site's all about. The classics, the good rides of the old days, and the new rides are great too. I love new rides. I like a lot of new rides a lot better than I like older rides, but you know, this is something more interactive and fun to do with the community. So we'll keep doing it. And in the future, once I get the hardware, the webcam, and the new microphone and stuff, we'll do live streams and Q&A sessions and news from around the industry. But I'm going to cut the stream short here today. Tomorrow, I will finish Trinity Islands and probably start the next scenario, which is Katie's World. Katie's World is one that I really like. So yeah, that's the end of that. Thank you very much for watching. If you have, please subscribe. Visit the YouTube channel, subscribe there. Amusementmemorabilia.com is the website. We are on Facebook. Like us on there as well. Thank you once again, and I will see you guys very soon.